Hi everyone, welcome back to Nitika Ki Pathshala. Today, we are diving into numeric data types in Python. In this video, we will cover variables, different types of numbers, basic math operations, and how to convert between integer and float types. So, let's get started. Let's start with the concept of variables. A variable is like a storage container in Python that holds data. Think of it as a name that points to a value you want to use in your program. So here I am using a variable age and I've assigned a value 25 to it. And the second variable I have used here is height and I've assigned a value 5.8 to it. And the third variable I have used name and I'm assigning the value Alice to it. Here, age stores the value 25, height stores the value 5.8, and name stores the value Alice. Variables can hold different types of data like numbers, text, or even more complex structures. The main thing to remember is that variables are case sensitive. So age and age, the capital H and the small age, would be treated as two different variables. So here, as you can see, I'm trying to print the age with small and capital case. So you can see it has given us two outputs.
Now let's move to our main topic, numbers. Python has three main numeric data types, int, float, and complex. We have boolean too, but it is a subtype of int. So let's break each one down. The first one is integer. So integers are whole numbers without the decimal places, such as -12, 0, 125, etc. Float are the real or floating point numbers which are having decimal places, such as 4.0, 14.23, like that. Next are complex numbers. So complex numbers are with real and imaginary parts, such as 3 plus 4j. So here j is used to denote the imaginary part. So last are boolean. Boolean values can be true or false. It is basically a subtype of int. So we'll use 1 for true and 0 for false. Now let's break each one down with examples in a code editor. Let's start with integer type first. So I am taking a variable age and assigning a value 25 to it. Now if we need to check the type of this particular variable, we'll simply type print, then type, and in parentheses we'll give the variable name. Now when we'll run it, we'll get the output as class int, denoting that the value which is stored in this variable is integer type. So next type is float. Here I am taking the variable name as height and assigning a value 5.8 to it. Now to check the type of this particular variable, I'll simply type print, type, and the variable name, which is height. And when I'll run this, I'll get the output as class float, denoting that this particular variable has a float type stored. Coming to the next type, which is complex. So here I'm taking a variable z and I'm assigning the value as 3 plus 4j, as it is a complex number. So when I'll try to print the type of this particular variable, I'll get the output as class complex, denoting that it is a complex value which is stored in this particular variable. So integers are whole numbers without any decimal places. Floats are numbers that contain decimals, and complex numbers are the numbers which have both real part and imaginary part, which is denoted by j in Python. Now let's look at some basic math operations in Python. Python supports all standard arithmetic operations including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's see these in action. Now let's take two variables a and b. For a I'm assigning value 10 and for b I'm assigning value as 3. Now doing the addition first, I'll type print parenthesis a plus b. Now when I'll run this, my output would be 13, which is the addition of these two numbers. Next operation we'll check is subtraction. So I'll type print a minus b. When I'll run this, I'll get an answer of 7. That means it is the difference of these two numbers. The third operation we'll check into is multiplication. So I'll type print parenthesis and then I'll write a asterisk b. And when I'll run this, I'll get an output of 30. The next operation is division. So here we'll be dividing the number a by b. So I'll type print and then a divided by b. So when I'll run this, I'll get an output of 3.333. So the next operation we are going to look into is floor division. So what exactly is floor division? Floor division basically ignores the remainder and only returns the quotient. So like if this number is 10 and the second number is 3, so when we'll do the floor division, the output will be 3. So I'll type print and in the comments I'll give floor division and I'll write a / b. So here it's doing the floor division operation and it will return the output as 3. So let's check that out. Once I'll run this, I'll get an output of 3. So the next operation we are going to look into is modulus. So for modulus, we'll use a percentage b, and once we will run it, it will return the remainder of the division, which is 1 in this case. The next operation we are going to look into is exponentiation. So what exactly is exponentiation? If we say then 2 raised to power 2, that means the power here is the exponent. So here, if we need to find out the exponentiation, we will simply write a asterisk b, which means a raised to the power b. So here 10 raised to power 3 would be 1000. So the result is 1000. So as you can see, Python provides an easy way to work with basic math operations. Each symbol such as plus, minus, asterisk, /, double /, percentage, double asterisk has a specific purpose and you can mix them as needed. Next, let's talk about converting between integers and floats. Sometimes you may need to convert a float to an integer or vice versa. Now let's try to convert a float into int. So we'll take a variable num underscore float and I'm assigning a value of 4.7 to it. Now we'll take another variable num underscore int where we'll store the converted value. So now we simply have to use the function int parenthesis and we have to give the variable name inside it. So now once we'll print num underscore int, we'll get the integer conversion of this float value. So it will basically remove the decimal part of this number. So I'm running this, I've got the answer as 4. So it has removed the decimal part of this number. Now we'll check how to convert integer to float. So when converting integer to float, it will simply put the decimal 0 after the number. So here I have taken the num as 10 and I have taken another variable num underscore float where I'll be storing the float value after conversion. So I'll simply use the function float parenthesis and I'll give the variable name inside this, which is num for this case. And now when I'll run this, I'll print num underscore float. I'll get the value as 10.0. So I'm trying to run this. Yeah, so I've got a float 10.0. So that's how we can convert one type into another. So to summarize, when we need to convert a float to an integer using int parenthesis, Python drops the decimal part without rounding. And when we convert an integer to a float with float parenthesis, Python simply adds 0.0 to the integer. And that's it for today's basics in Python. We covered variables, numeric data types, basic math operations, and how to convert between integers and floats. These are fundamental concepts, and knowing them will give you a strong foundation as you continue learning Python. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.